These are things my last whatever ship, I don't know what to even call it, taught me. Okay, like I hate that modern dating sucks so much. I really, when you get into these situations that you don't really have a name for, and like they do have some significance because it did affect you to a huge level or little level or some level, and you cannot name it because it wasn't dating or something like that. It's just what you can call a situationship. My god, I hate situationships. It's exhausting. Anyways, got into a situation. Sometimes people make dumb decisions. Even I do. I had to name it one thing, I would say it was unnecessary. You know that Taylor Swift lyric? It was unnecessary. Should have left it let. Should have kept it buried. Something like that. Okay. So what I did was, okay, this is like a fun girl to girl. This series is all about that, okay? This is called Navigating Girlhood Together, which is basically a series where we girls talk girl to girl and, heart to heart, just some girl things, And it's fun, okay? Because we share our experiences and we have fun while doing it. So this whatever ship was, I'm calling it whatever ship because it does not even classify as a situationship. Imagine that. How do I get into these situations? Sometimes even I wonder. But modern dating, guys, modern dating. Anyways, so I was bored and there was like a free lecture I had in college and I was like, you know what? Let's get something good out of it, and I'm just gonna tell you all the things I learned from the situation, because whatever situation it is, there's always some good that you can take out of it. It's about the perspective, okay? So I was like, I'm gonna take as much good and as many lessons as I can from the situation, and these are some of the things that my whatever ship taught me. I have a list here, so let's go. Okay, first, if he makes you insecure, he ain't worth it. No guy, hear me out, girls, no guy is worth your peace, you sacrificing your life, and no guy is absolutely worth ruining your self-concept. Like, if a guy is making you feel insecure, he ain't worth it, girl. He just ain't. Like, that's, I think, one of the most basic red flag. If he is making you constantly doubt yourself and making you insecure, because this really happened where I became really insecure, and that is such a rare thing for me because for a long time I haven't been insecure a lot. And I used to be when I was a kid and like a few years ago, but I hadn't been very insecure about how I look. And it does matter because the partner that you're with, if he's constantly making you doubt how you look, if you're not pretty enough, if he's making you doubt especially about your looks, he ain't worth it, girl. He is not the guy for you. I can give you that with 100% assurity that he ain't the guy for you, and you should not be dating a guy who's making you insecure about your looks. And you know what, it's not even, sometimes we become insecure and it's not even very explicitly said, okay, that you are not this. It's just subtly it's just small nuances and subtly been integrated in sentences where you start becoming insecure about yourself. And if he is making you insecure, he ain't worth it, girl. Okay, a person can be a really good person and still not be a good boyfriend or the person for you, okay? Just because he's a nice guy, just because he's a nice person, and just because he's nice to everybody else does not make him a good boyfriend. Because just because he's a good friend or good to all the other girls or people around you does not invalidate your experience and your judgment of him. Because this really happened where I felt that he wasn't my guy, or like he's not my person, and he did not, like, I don't know, treat me the way that I wanted to be treated or deserved to be treated. But yet he was treating everybody around me so well, and then everybody used to tell me that, my god, he's such a nice guy. And for a long time even I believed that, even though I knew in my heart that is not been my experience and that is not the truth. So just because he's a good person or a good friend to other people around you does not make him the perfect boyfriend or the perfect guy for you. He can be a good person and still not be a good enough boyfriend. He can be a good person and still not be the perfect guy for you. Okay, this is really important. It's a little deep, but hear me out, girl. Attraction doesn't last long. Compatibility does. I genuinely have experienced this, that even if there's like a very strong attraction, that does not last in long term. Like if you really want a long-term stable relationship, you have to look at compatibility, and there are things that, you know, the lifestyle you want, the way you look at the world, there are so many things. You guys have to be compatible for it to ever work, because attraction does not last long, compatibility does. And I wish I could go back to that Preet and, you know, hold her and shake her and tell her this, that, you know, attraction does not translate into a strong relationship. There has to be compatibility. Okay, the next one is, I feel most of the girls out there would relate, because I've had this experience a lot, you know, that girls around me are doing this, and even me, I have with you, I have done these things, okay? So your standards were never too high. You just, okay, hear me out on this, okay? Carefully hear me out here, okay? Your standards were never too high. You just chose to settle with what was available. I said it. Somebody had to say it. I just feel, okay? Then, you know, whenever we are like, my standards are too high, you know, we are just settling for what is available in front of us right now. And you know what? I'll tell you one thing. If you settle for what is available, you are never going to find the standard that you had previously, because that is lowering your standards, okay? You know, having high standards basically means is not settling for anything below that, and only then can you find what you are actually looking for, you know. And I genuinely feel your standards are not too high, because they are your standards, and that's it, full stop. They are your standards. Don't let people get into your head telling you that they are too high, they are too low, blah. They are your standards, okay? And if they are low, you can raise them, but if they are high, do not lower them. Because you know what? The only way you're going to find what your apparently so-called high standards are is the way to not settle. So I'm gonna say it once more, because I want it to hit like it hit me. Your standards were never too much. You just chose to settle with what was available. The next thing, this is something that I'm really glad about, that I learned, and yeah, communication and reassurance are absolute bare minimum goals. Like absolute bare minimum. There has to be communication and there has to be reassurance. At least I learned for me that I require a lot of reassurance, and that's not too much to ask, okay? I always thought that I was asking for too much with just basic communication and reassurance, that I felt that asking for reassurance, or not even asking, you know, you shouldn't be even asking for it. It's just bare minimum. Reassurance and communication are literally bare minimum, girl. You do not have to beg for it. You do not have to ask for it. You do not have to think that you are asking for too much just because you want communication and reassurance. Those are basic bare minimum things. And in fact, I'll tell you, girl, that, you know, having those two things can actually be beneficial for both ways, from you and for the guy or whoever your partner is. It's actually really beneficial to have communication and reassurance, and they are basic bare minimum, okay? Like in the past, I have been in situations I felt that, you know, even expecting communication and reassurance is me asking for too much, me being too much. But honestly, I realized that those are just bare minimum, and you know, with the right guy, and you know, many guys, at least, okay, I am two guys, okay, so I'm just gonna say it, guys. Many guys are just, you know, that's just a bare minimum. That's not something you have to ask for, or you know, expect like it's a huge big thing. Like, you know, one of my friends keeps saying that, you know, don't go clapping for the bare minimum, because reassurance and communication are literally bare minimum, girl. Okay, coming towards the last thing, which is basically the last thing in this point in this video. I didn't want to make this a long video, it's just a quick chatty girly video. Is that, you know, date whenever you feel like dating, because you want to date and you really think there's something with this guy, and you know, you guys are compatible and you really want to explore a relationship with this guy. Do not date just because everybody thinks that you should be dating, or everybody thinks that you guys are the perfect couple, or like, just date for the reality, because you have to date in real life and not for the fantasy. I did this a huge mistake where, you know, just because everybody said that it's perfect and you guys are perfect for each other, even though I knew that we're not very compatible and we are not he's not the kind of guy that I envision myself with, or like I am attracted to in a guy. Everybody was like, this is the perfect relationship, you'd make the perfect pair, you should date. And don't date for the sake of dating or for the fantasy of it all, because it would have made a great romance book, it would have made a great fantasy, and this guy and this girl is wow. But date because you really feel that fire in you and that attraction and that compatibility, and there are so many things that when you want to date. And if something in your gut is telling you that we are not compatible, I am not sure, listen to that, okay? Really listen to me, trust me, I've learned from experience, listen to it, okay? So that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Should I make more videos like this? I should, it's fun, I feel. I don't know. If you have any topics down in the comments, tell me down in the comments. We would love to have a chat, okay? I would comment anything and everything. I would love to have a chat with you. Like, share, and most importantly, subscribe, because that would make my day. So subscribe. And with that, that's all. You and I love you, right?